Okay. I'm live again. Sorry for the confusion if you tapped into the last one and it disappeared. I'm back. And I'm just pulling the chart up again on the computer because I can't look at it on the phone and still do the live stream. Unless there's a feature to share the screen, which there's not. So right now today we have two T-squares. If you're watching, am I sideways right now? Am I sideways? Why can't Am I sideways? Is it better now? Oh, God. They make this so hard. So we have two T-squares. Right now we have a transitory mutable T-square, but we have a longer term cardinal T-square that is taking place with Mars squaring these things that are in opposition. And Mercury will move quicker, but then Mars is going to keep squaring Mercury. I want to pull the thing up again. My computer is really slow, so it takes some time. I thought I had it already. So today we have Venus and Venus and the moon in opposition. The moon is in Sagittarius, and this is square to Neptune. So the moon in Sagittarius is really firing up people's emotional bodies. And Sagittarius can have this energy of being kind of stubborn and kind of opinionated, where Venus in Gemini is, open, is flexible, is adaptable, but it can also be sort of like a mask, or there can be confusion associated with Gemini in its shadow state. So that energy is there, and we still have Neptune in Pisces, and Neptune in Pisces can be a beautiful spiritual energy, but the shadow of that is illusion and deception. This is a pretty transitory influence, but it's still a strong one, and we have this direct opposition coming into full spectrum right now. You can pop onto astro.com if you're familiar with the language of this to see what the chart looks like. I had the chart on my phone, but the phone won't show me the image at the same time, so I'm trying to load it again so I can talk more about it, but I'm speaking from memory here. We also have Mercury opposing the stellium right now that's in Capricorn. We have Saturn and right now actually Pluto and Jupiter in Pallas Athena are all still conjunct at that point that Mercury is opposing, and then Mars is squaring them. So we have two T-squares going on in the same day. We have this cardinal T-square, which is about the dissonance of the direction we're taking, and the mutable T-square about the dissonance, the challenge, and the transformation. So it's like a really big turning point today of both, seeing how we're transforming and what direction we're heading. So stay tuned into yourself. And even, when we have this direct opposition, chart of the moment, there we go. Now I can finally look at it. And pop onto astro.com to see the image I'm talking about. I would put it in the comments, but I can't. If somebody screen caps it and puts it in the comments, beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. So that cardinal T-square, and Mercury moves quick, so this is a more fast-moving influence, but Mercury is going to move from being opposed to Pluto and Jupiter to being opposed Saturn. So when Mercury opposes Saturn, it's going to be this dissonance between our communication and the limitations of time and the limitations of society, the limitations that are in place in general. That's Saturn. So we may kind of want to push against what's limiting us, and we may feel this continued harshness of all of these things in retrograde in Capricorn, which has been with us for a while and will continue with us. And once Mercury leaves Cancer and moves into Leo, we're going to start to feel a lightness again, where that energy is not going to be so in our face. Now, today directly we have Venus and Gemini inconjunct. We have both two T-squares and two inconjuncts. Gemini, Venus inconjunct Pluto. And Gemini, Venus will also inconjunct again that Saturn point later. So right now, it's like, Pluto through Capricorn is restructuring our society. And today, especially, we may feel, that in our heart, because Venus is all about, the heart is about love. And we feel that transformation really creating this intense inability to drop into that space of love. And it's going to continue when that inconjunct moves to Saturn. And sorry, it's not pretty. And directly right now we have another inconjunct, and it's really interesting when you look at the chart. You can see a lot from the shapes. So there's a parallel line, if you pull up the chart, between the Mercury and Moon inconjunct and the Venus and the Pluto inconjunct. And the Moon in Sagittarius inconjunct Mercury in Cancer. Again, Mercury in Cancer makes us very emotional and very open, receptive. It's a good time to be creative, but here the Moon in Sagittarius is just like not giving shits, is kind of pushing against, is like, it can be very opinionated energy. It also can be a creative and liberating energy, but right now we blinded by our emotions and our sense of what's right, Sagittarius, that we don't communicate in the most sensitive way. So these two inconjuncts, it's really interesting, that parallel line, and it ties into, where the parallels between society being restructured, bringing people to be super emotional. So it's an intense day. Just kind of stay in your heart center. What's making this lovely, though? Mars just entered its shadow phase. So Mars will go retrograde, and the retrograde Mars action will also, as it passes back over, it will pass over again, continuing to square all of this Capricorn stuff. So our individual egoic self gets this strong boost in Mars energy. And Mars is ruled by Aries, so in its home sign, this is like a very fiery, rambunctious planet that just wants to initiate and move forward and get its way. So, it's like, oh, we're pushing things to open, move, accelerate again, but we need to be careful about how our ego pushes up against things. So it's really important with Mars and Aries to stand for what you're for without pushing it back against what you're against. And Mars retrograde in Aries can sometimes be a symbol of war, right? Like war initiating. And I'm not trying to put negative predictions about that in the air, but I am intending to bring light to the war has already begun. And we're having people disappeared in the streets. We're having, just the government in the United States really having a war against its own citizens. And then there's the war of information, where these medicines and these ideas are being censored. And whether or not you believe these things are the solution or not, why is that being censored? We already see the medical industrial complex as this very parasitic organism that and draining us of our well-being in so many senses. And now the censorship is bringing people to only rely on it. And it's a very tricky thing with North Node and Gemini. It's two-faced. So we have to not fall into this trap of, you know, if this person has one stance, then all of their other stances are incorrect as well. And that's kind of the shadow of Gemini, is like, it sees things are black as white. There's no gray zone in between. Like, if a person stands for one thing, we just automatically assume that everything else they stand for is negative. So we need to open our minds to see the bigger picture and not just instantly jump to conclusions when we see that, oh, okay, well, this person must be awful because, or this opinion or this idea must be awful because it's coming through this avenue. So be careful for that, North Node and Gemini. Anyway, back to whatever I was looking at. We also have the Sun trine Chiron. That can be a very powerful way to start to look at our wounds. Chiron is about the wounds that guide us to healing. So when the Sun is bringing energy to Chiron, it is starting to accelerate that process of healing. And rather than getting pulled into the mess out there, when we use this as an opportune time to go inside, when we're seeing the chaos out there, what is that stirring up? What is that allowing us to work on within ourselves, rather than just diving face first into the chaos of everything? I'm looking for some other things. Maybe people have questions. I don't even know how I can look at the questions, though. Where are the comments? Where are the comments? Hi. Oh, there are the comments. I don't see any comments. So if you guys have any questions, type them in the comments. If you want to ask how this affects your individual astrological chart, and you can pop it in the comments. Beautiful. What else am I looking for in this chart? Well, Venus is going to pop over the North Node again. So that's going to be able to bring up some of this evolutionary aspect of the North Node in Gemini. And the, long-term things, we can look at that a little bit. The North Node in Gemini is all about expanding information, evolving through information, and evolving through being able to see every perspective as valid, and stepping out of dualistic black and white thinking, which is the shadow of Gemini. And the gift of Gemini is to be able to process a lot of information and see an objective truth, and see that perhaps there's a good and bad side to everything. With every good decision, there is, some negative consequence. So Venus going over the North Node kind of propels us to look at the bigger evolution, and Gemini is also all about this information. So with this information age, we're seeing information being censored, information spreading quickly, and people automatically believing everything that they see just because it pops up on their screen. So when we are really emotionally charged, then it can sort of bring us to fall into the trap of believing things that don't really have a firm grounding in reality. And through this whole, it's probably 14 or 16 more months of North Node and Gemini, we're learning how to see things with greater discernment and not just fall into the trap of believing whatever feels right, whatever feels initially true, and instead coming to see it in a bigger perspective. And other long-term things is, well, Uranus is about to go retrograde. So Uranus going through that Taurus is also about restructuring our financial institutions, but it's also about restructuring and evolving our deep sense of the connection with the earth. So as Uranus progresses through Taurus, there may be even more environmental issues that pop up. Right now, it is just a little bit trying to Jupiter and all of those things in Capricorn. So that's kind of supporting the transformation taking place. But as it goes retrograde, they're going to come out of phase. So this is the last time that we can see that very supportive energy that Uranus is bringing into all of this. We have Neptune still supporting that transformation with the trine there. Does anyone have any questions? I want to know how this applies to the chart. Basically, if we're going back to the beginning of what I was saying with these big T squares, if you have planets, especially, Sun, Moon, the most important ones, in the mutable signs being Sagittarius and Gemini and Virgo and Pisces, this moment is going to be a pretty intense one, as well as if you have signs in the cardinal ones of Capricorn, Cancer, and Aries. It can be kind of an intense one. And yeah. Is it a good moment to make big changing decisions? Yes, it actually is, because these two T squares, again, it's about moving forward and transforming. So there's a lot of tension that's kind of forcing that big move forward and that big transformation right now. So it is a good time to make decisions, but you want to sink into yourself so completely that your heart fully knows. So don't go when you're still in the comparison and confusion mode. It's really important to sit and meditate, and I would wait till you make the decision till after the full moon. Full moon on August 4th. So August 5th, think of that as your decision point. Like, the energy is pushing us to look for that decisive moment now. If I have Venus, how does it affect me? For example, if I have Venus, Gemini in 12th in my natal. Venus, Gemini. It really depends on what degree. If you know what degree, that would be great. But say, for example, it is a matured degree and it's conjunct Venus. It's like, Venus, your Venus return is an uplifting moment. You've definitely had your Venus return at some point in this retrograde cycle. So if you look back towards like May or something, we've had Venus in retrograde, and so your Venus return is like igniting a new cycle of what opens your heart, what brings you to connect with others, what beautifies your life. If your Venus is, for example, in the later degrees, say around 20 or even 19, 18 of these signs, then this T-square moment is like kind of like a owie, like but it's because it's involving the moon, it's a short-lived one. It can kind of turn things upside down and maybe emotionally bring out the challenges or what opposes you in finding love and beauty in your life. It's in the last degree of Gemini, yeah. So you will be kind of impacted by this a little bit. And 29, so, the moon is going to directly oppose that later on today. So kind of use that as a moment. Moon opposing Venus, it's like you're having the emotional realm opposes the realm of beauty connection. So it could be a good time to just spend alone and within yourself. Contemplate some transformations. Thanks everybody for watching. If you'd like and share what special energy for Capricorn. When's your birthday, Anik? Yeah, Facebook is kind of not letting my posts reach as many people through the groups and everything now. So if you share these videos, especially the channeling videos, it helps it to reach more people. Anyway, yeah, tell me what day, Anik, and I can talk a bit about that. Still looking at the chart, seeing what else may pop out to me. But nothing's really popping. 17th of January. Okay. So, right now, and for some months, you have that whole stellium in Capricorn on your sun sign. So it's really about transformation. Jupiter expands, Pluto transforms, Saturn contracts. So it's kind of like a triple whammy right now for you, Anik, in terms of your soul's evolution. And it's going to help you really reach new levels in yourself, though, know that all of this sort of chaos and confusion is passing, but the transformative aspect continues until like 2024, to be honest, because Pluto will remain hanging out in Capricorn, those later degrees of Capricorn, until 2024. So it's a big long-term transformation. And this Saturn retrograde for the next couple of months may be a bit of... Mars retrograde. I said Saturn. Saturn's in retrograde too. Mars retrograde, it will also square your sun. So there may be issues in taking actions and imposing your will. You may find the frustrating aspects of the Mars energy in Aries starts to trigger you more. But again, this is just, it's actually until the end of the year. So it's important with something like Aries that we kind of balance out its impulsive nature. And when we're impulsed by passion and love, it's beauty. But when we're impulsed by anger, which Aries has a lot of anger, it can cause some chaos. August 20th. So August 20th would be late. Is that Virgo or Leo? It's Leo, right? Progressed Leo. There's nothing really jumping out for that. You're probably in the clear with that degree of Leo right now. Yeah. I mean, you will at one point have an inconjunct frequency with the as the planets move forward, and Jupiter and Saturn will pass through again towards the end of the year in winter, and inconjunct is kind of like, it's not as challenging as a square. It's more of like an awkward tension. It's like when things don't really line up, when something is creating a neutralizing frequency. So it may be a funny time for, really moving forward or evolving at the end of the year, but it's a very passing, subtle influence. 27th of October, so early Scorpio. Well, early Scorpio, Uranus retrograde is going to be opposing your sun sign again. So Uranus retrograde starting soon and is going to go through the end of the year. I'm not sure how far it's going to go back or where it's exactly going to touch you, but you already have a Uranus opposition to your sun right now. So that can be an identity crisis moment. It can be a moment of like, ooh, why is all of this happening? Every bit of transformation is really challenging for me right now. You may go through a whole identity restructuring process as Uranus goes back over and opposes your sun and then moves forward again. And also right now is kind of Leo season, so Leo also squares the sun, so it can create some personal tension. Yeah, I mean, we already passed that point, you know, a couple of days ago. It might have been a moment of feeling a lot of tension in yourself, how you see yourself and everything. But that's a kind of passing one. April 23rd. So we've got early Taurus, baby Taurus, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's your sun sign at least is quite well in the clear right now. You do have, no, that's not true. Mercury eventually will cause a square to your sun. I noticed that. And yeah, Uranus is going to go retrograde again, Stephanie. So, like I said, the Uranus thing, with it's not in opposition, so it may feel a little bit actually uplifting, but a change in your sense of self, a change in how you see yourself. And this has been initiated way back in probably like the beginning of 2020 and even before that. I think last year we had Uranus stepping into Taurus. So that's like a personal rebirth and revelation. And there's going to be another wave of that when Uranus goes retrograde. Yeah. So it's important to know that basically this is an intense day. It's a passing influence. It's a crossroads. We have these double squares and these parallel inconjuncts. So know that clarity is going to come and transformation is going to come. While I'm on here a couple more minutes, I can answer any questions related to people's birth times or things of that nature if you want me to. And again, liking and sharing is so great. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/blissbeings. Tomorrow going live again for the weekly channeling session. This was kind of a random surprise live. If it really touched you, you can send donations. It's kind. Oh, I would love to meet you as well. Brian Ross. Okay, 11/7, so mid-Scorpio 71. How does that work with this mid-Scorpio? I do take into account the numerological aspects. Okay, so for you, Brian, it's not so bad right now, which is good. I mean, you will have a semi-annual square coming up. So around like the 7th or 8th of August, the sun will square your sun. And that can be a moment of some personal challenge and feeling, you know, a mini identity restructure or a mini sort of, you know, how do I see myself? How do I relate to others? The Uranus opposition to Sun will be something to take into account a bit later on. It's already kind of happening now. So I said to a couple other people earlier in the video who had a similar thing going on, Uranus opposing Sun is like a personal transformation. It's like a personal rebirth in a sense where there's sudden changes to your personality, sudden changes in the way that you see things and how you relate. And for you, that'll probably happen early to mid 2021 when that opposition will be exact, but it's already in place right now. So that transformation and reevaluation and growth is going to continue. Do you have anything else going on that I notice right now? It's hard just looking at birthdays because I need some more exact information, but I can see some things. The Capricorn stellium, which can be challenging for a lot of people, will have a positive impact on you as mid-Scorpio. So that's good. It's signaling growth and moving forward, essentially. March 1st, 1991 for Lauren. March 1st, 1991. That makes you mid-Pisces. Mm-hmm. Nothing quite jumps out. Uranus sextile Sun. That's good. So everyone's having these Uranus aspects right now. It's kind of interesting. I got Uranus tattooed. I'm getting every planet, but Uranus is the latest one. The latest one. It's interesting there. And I just keep talking about Uranus for everybody. So Uranus sextile Sun is like, again, personal growth, transformation, reevaluation, how you see yourself and how you grow. So that influence is a long-standing one, and this time will be beautiful and growing, but Uranus will always bring in unexpected and unknown into the equation. So just keep yourself open to the unknown. I love you too, Brian. Yay. Anybody else? Pop in your birthday, or if you have your exact astro chart, even better. June 27th. June 27th, 1981. So that is Gemini. Yesterday or this morning could have been a challenging time with the moon opposing your sun. That's a passing influence, however. Chiron, sextile sun. So it's a healing time for you, and Chiron's going to go retrograde. You're going to have Chiron in this sextile aspect to your sun for a while, so it's a really good time to do personal growth work, to look at some things that may be unhealed and coming to the surface and realizing that that journey inward always supports your growth and supports the healing of everyone. So that's a good thing. Okay, I can look at one more person, maybe. Oh, Cancer. Shit. Okay, I was thinking May. I'm losing my flow of things. I read May when I saw... No, Lauren, you're not really... I mean, the squares... Yeah, the squares do affect you right now, but it's, again, a passing one. And you're kind of like, 10 degrees away from it. Let me think, not early Gemini, early Cancer. No, there's nothing popping up right now for that degree of Cancer. There's nothing really in exact relationship. I did say more about yours, Lauren, but you must have lost the video for a second. So when the replay is up, you can look at it again. So I do private readings to go more in depth, and we can look at all of the aspects and not just your sun sign, which is a very limited scope of reference. As you can see, for some of the sun signs, I don't see anything in relation to the chart right now. So if you want to do that, we can do that. And again, we're going live stream with the Pleiadian Council tomorrow. It was good to talk about all of these energies because it felt like an intense one. Yeah, for me personally, with the T-square affecting Mercury, I I noticed a lot of communication issues, and the communication issues may continue. They may keep going on. You may feel like, oh, well, why can't I get things across right? And it's Mercury opposed all of those Capricorn things, creating limitation to our communication, creating a limitation to how we connect and express. But it's passing, and Mercury moves through Leo then, and that will bring about a whole new array of experiences, more authentic and brave self-expression, hopefully. Lydia, okay. Pisces. Early Pisces. I think you're out of the orb of the mutable squares, Lydia, so that's good. You will have that sextile, Uranus sextile, transformation, evolution, personal transformation, and growth at this time. But that's all I am picking up with just your sun sign. Okay, I feel complete. I feel satisfied. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope this has been enjoyable for you, and much love and many blessings for you on this day, and I will catch you later.